everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Charmaine, and today we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag by Gabby Reads. I think it's by Gabby Reads. I'm not 100% sure. I did see her do the video, so I will link her channel and her video down below if you want to check it out. I couldn't find out if somebody else did it. I tried to look, and the only one that I saw, like a whole bunch of people do it, but she's the first one that I saw do it, so I think she was the original creator. Anyways, so I want to give credit where credit is due. So what this is it's talking about all of the books that I read from like January 1st up until now. Like not all of them, but it has like questions and then you fill in the blanks with like the books that you've read. I'll be right back. So yeah, I have the questions here. There's 14 questions and then I'm going to fill in the blanks with the books so I can tell you guys about like all of the books that I've been reading and the books that I want to read and all of that kind of stuff. So the first one, number one, is the best book that you've read so far in 2023. Mine is Final Girls by Grady Hendrix. I am like obsessed with that book. I lent it to my friend Felicia, so she has my copy. So I'll try and remember, well, I will remember to put a photo of it right here so that you guys can see what it is. What it is essentially, it's like horror movies are real in this reality. And there's a whole bunch of final girls. They're in a group together and stuff starts happening to them again. So they have to like protect each other. It is such a good book. It is more, I would say like thriller / horror-ish because it does talk about like horror movies. And it's kind of neat because like there's different titles in the book, but they're definitely like based on like, you know, Camp Crystal Lake. What's that one? Jason? Is that Jason? Oh my gosh, I can't think what it's called. It's not Friday the 13th. Or is it Friday the 13th? Now I don't know. I don't actually watch a lot of horror movies. They freak me out. And I don't read a lot of horror books either because they freak me out. But this is like serious. I was so addicted to reading this book. I had to set timers at work when I was reading it. I was reading it and like walking back and forth in my staff room, like going to put my lunch in the microwave as I'm reading my book and stuff. Like I never do that. I was like obsessed with that book. And my friend Felicia loves horror movies. And I was like, you got to read this. She has not started to read it yet, Felicia. Yeah, that's the look. She's getting it. She knows. She's watching this. So that is my favorite book of the year so far. My number two is the best sequel that you've read so far this year in 2023. So I had two answers for this. My first best sequel is One of Us Is Next by Karen M. McManus. We read that for book club. Insanely good. And then my second one is the Crush one from the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. I don't know where my dust jacket went. I took it off so that I wouldn't wreck it, and I'm not sure where I put it. So this is what it looks like here. These books are huge. Like this is 684 pages. Oh man, I lied. I said that the other one was the biggest one, but this is the biggest one. So yeah, 684 pages of that. So One of Us Is Next is the follow-up book to One of Us Is Lying, where it has like a truth or dare game. We did like a whole review video on it. I will remember to link it so that you guys can check it out, hopefully up here. I think I can link videos up here so that you guys can check it out if you want to go and see the review on that, because that was a part of our book club read. And then this one here, what happens is there's a girl named Grace and her parents die, so she has to go to Alaska boarding school, and she learns that there's like mythical creatures. There's dragons, werewolves, vampires, fairies. She finds out like there's like a whole bunch of different kind of mythical creatures, and she ends up becoming part of their world and everything like that. This is the second book to it. It is amazing. It is so good. It is so good. Honestly, so good. So yeah, I would say that this series is like my number one series of 2023 so far. I'm only halfway through the third book, and the sixth book just came out this month. So I'm excited to get that, which I talk about later. So yes, here it is right here. Number three is what new releases haven't you read yet, but you want to? So mine is I think it's called Cherish. It's the sixth book in this series I have here. There's also, I want to read How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. That's who wrote Final Girls. I actually want to read all of his books now. I think that he's funny, like, because it's like funny, campy, kind of horror, kind of 80s style kind of thing. Like he has another one called My Best Friend's Exorcism, I think, which actually got made into either a movie or a TV show. So I also want to read that. And then I want to read The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, who's a brand new author. Like, that's her debut novel. But I was watching Gabby today and she was talking about how much she wants to read it, or how much she liked it because she read it already. And I was like, oh, I need to read that. Because her recommendation, intensely good. Like, intense. Amazing. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So mine is Cherished by Tracy Wolff because it came out this month. I don't have it yet, so I'm counting it as the second half of this year. And the next one that I have is the One of Us is Back by Karen M. McManus. That's the third book in the One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next series. I can't wait to get that. I don't think that Taylor can either. Like, we're both, like, we're talking about it. We know when it's coming out. It's coming out in July. Like, we're both very excited about it. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get it and then, like, maybe suggest it for book club, but maybe we'll just, like, buddy read it and talk it back and forth. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I've never done a buddy read before, but I'm definitely willing to for that book. I am pumped about it. I cannot wait to read it. I need to know what happens. Seriously. It's such a good series. I hope that you guys read it because, like, a lot of you are in book club with us, so I hope that you did. Now, we have number 5 is your biggest disappointment of the year. So mine is this one. This is A Book of Living Secrets, and it's by Madeline Rue. It's this one here. It sounds like such a good premise. So I'm going to read the back. It says, falling into a book of living secrets. Adele opened her eyes with a jolt. Oh my God, she whispered blankly. It worked. It really worked. I can't believe that we're here. She rubbed her eyes and pinched herself. No, it was all real. She just landed in the park where Maura and Severin made their pact to dance at the ball. Connie must have come through too. She was somewhere in the book already, but at a different point in the story. I'll find you, Connie. I'm ready to get on track. So essentially what it is it's 2 girls go into their favorite novel and then they, like, live their lives in this novel. I made it about 3/4 of the way through this book and I was like, I'm not invested in this book. Why am I wasting my time? So I didn't even finish it. I love this cover. I love this author. She wrote the Asylum series, which I'm, like, obsessed with. I thought that this would be an amazing book, and I just, it's not that it was boring, I did not care. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about finding out if they got back out of, like, the book that they were in. I didn't care about the characters that were in the book that they love so much. Like, I just didn't care. Such a cool premise. Such a cool premise. Should have been a super cool book. Probably is for other people, but it is definitely not a book for me. So that's my biggest disappointment. And I'm sad about it because, honestly, the cover's gorgeous. And I did judge this book by its cover because the cover's gorgeous. I don't care. So, biggest surprise is The Last Confession of Autumn Casterly. It's this one here. It says, when band geek Ivy and her friends get together, things start with a rousing board game and end with an argument about Star Wars. Her older sister Autumn is a different story. Enigmatic, aloof, and tough as nails, Autumn hasn't had real friends or trusted anyone in years, even Ivy. But Autumn may not be tough enough. After a drug deal gone wrong, Autumn is beaten, bound, and held captive. Now trapped between life and death, she leaves her body, seeking help. No one can sense her presence, except for her sister. When Autumn doesn't come home, Ivy just knows that she's in trouble, unable to escape the chilling feeling that something isn't right. Ivy follows a string of clues that lead her closer to rescuing her sister, and closer to danger. This is the coolest book that I read all year. I mean, like, other than Final Girls. This is my other number 5, like, 5-star book. I think about this book all the time. I cannot wait to reread this book. Future me is excited for this book. It is so good. It is so good. It's twisted and, like, you get frustrated. You get real frustrated in this book, you guys. I cried. I laughed. Like, Autumn Casterly. Okay, number 9. I'm just skipping to it right now. Number 9 is your newest favorite character. That's Autumn Casterly right here. This chick is amazing. I love this book. If you have not read it, I suggest it. It is by the author Meredith Tate. I'm not sure if it's like a new book, or if it's like her first book. I guess I could look on the inside. It might tell me if she has other books. No, she has other books. Shipped, Freedom Trails, Missing Pieces, and The Red Labyrinth. So I should look up some of her other books because it was amazing. I started to use the tabs here and I got so intensely invested that I didn't have enough time to tab and read. Honestly. 5 stars, babes. 5 stars. Okay, number 7 is your new favorite author, debut author, or new to you author. And mine is Lucy Foley, and this is The Paris Apartment. We read the guest list for book club last month. I honestly burned through her books in like 2 days. I was listening to them on my Scribed app, which I do have like a link down below, like in my description box if you guys want to check that out. If you sign up, You get a month for free and I get a month for free. I'm not pressuring you. I'm just telling you that it's there, and it's unlimited books. Like, you don't have to pay for them. I think on like Audible, you have to pay for them. I'm not sure. I've never tried it. But on Scribd, it's like unlimited books. Some of them might not be in there. Sometimes they take out the books and then they put them back in. It's a little bit of a weird system, but it's like $12 a month, I think. And Taylor uses it, my mom uses it, and I use it. So it's awesome if you're into audiobooks. But yes, so Lucy Foley, she wrote The Paris Apartment, she wrote The Guest List. She has another one, I think it's called The Hunted Party or The Hunting Party. Is it in here? The Hunting Party that I want to read. Oh, she has a couple other ones. The Book of Lost and Found. Oh, that sounds amazing. I need to read that. I should get that. There's also The Invitation, The Last Letter from Istanbul, and The Hunting Party. So she's new to me, but she's not like new. But I read both of her books like back to back in 4 days. Like, honestly, I burned through them. This one, the sister goes to Paris and she's trying to find her brother. And it's like this creepy, twisted, like kind of alcove apartment kind of thing. Many twists and turns, things that you wouldn't think of. Amazing, amazing book. I'm so happy. This book tag is amazing. Also, I will say when I was watching Gabby's video, she was talking very fast, and I'm also talking very fast, but that's because I'm pumped. So I feel as though she was pumped as well. So good job, Gabby. If you're watching this, you're amazing. So the next one that we have is the newest fictional crush. So I don't have one. Like, a lot of the books that I read are like YA. Like right now I'm reading the Crave series. I can't have a crush on like, you know, an 18-year-old kid in high school. I will say my newest fictional character who's like a favorite is probably, oh, is his name Finn? Yeah, I think it's Finn in Flick. Maybe it's Flick. He's in the Crave series. He's a dragon. He's funny. He's sarcastic. He's like dramatic. And I don't know, he's just like a ball of fun, and he kind of reminds me of my friend Matt. So in my mind, I'm like, it's not like a crush, but I'm like, oh, he's like my favorite dude. So that's who I'm going to go with. Then my newest favorite character, which I also just mentioned, was Autumn Casterly. I cannot stop thinking about her. This book. Maybe I should reread this. I mean, I read it already this year, but I'm already like ready to jump back in. So good. And I almost didn't read it. I started to read it and then I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I ended up picking it up again, and thank goodness I did, because wow, that's a good one. Okay, so number 10 is a book that made you cry. And the book that made me cry most recently was The Rules of Magic by Ellis Hoffman. It's in the Practical Magic, like, family line. Because she started with Maria Owens, who's like the one who like put the curse on the family. If you watch Practical Magic or read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But they're like a line of witches. They have a curse on them where they can't fall in love with somebody. So this one is talking about like Franny and Jet when they're children. So like they're teenagers and stuff like that. It is so good, and it totally made me cry at the end. Like to the pact, like I had to stop reading because I was crying so hard that I was like doing like the, you know, like that sob that you get when you're like really intensely crying. It's so good. So good. Can't recommend it enough. Also, that whole entire series is good. The one that I would say probably that I like the least so far, because I still have, I'm going to reread Practical Magic, and then I have the last one to read, which is the Book of Magic. I have two of them sitting on the floor here because I thought I had the Rules of Magic, but I don't, because I wanted to show you the cover. But I would think the one with where it was about Maria Owens was maybe like the slowest one for me. But other than that, I love them all. And Practical Magic was the first one written, so she kind of wrote them like out of order. But there is like, if you Google it, there's a way to like read them in order. And a book that made me happy is probably the Crave series. Honestly, it's the one that I'm reading right now. What is it called? Oh my gosh. There's Crave, Crush. I don't even know what this next one's called. It's probably not in here because this was done before that. I don't know what the next one's called. Sorry, you guys. I'm on it. I'm reading it, but I don't know what it's called. But it's the third one in the series. I honestly was reading it at work during my lunch break, and there was like this little like back and forth between the main character, whose name is Grace, and her boyfriend Hudson. And they're like back and forth, and they're like trying to figure out if they're going to have a relationship or what's happening with them. And like just their little back and forth like made me think like, oh, that's so cute. So like that one, this book is like really making me happy. We have not gotten to the scary part yet though. Like, I have not reached the scary part, or like the part where like something bad is going to happen, because that's how this series seems to go. It's so good, but like the bad stuff, but I mean so good. Okay, so number 12 is your favorite book to film adaptation that you've seen this year. So mine is The One of Us is Lying, but I read that book. Did we read that book this year? We might have read that book this year because we read One of Us is Next this year. So I feel as though we read One of Us is Lying and then One of Us is Next. So yeah, it could be that one. I watched the TV show for One of Us is Lying, and it's a little bit different than the book, but I think that they do really good on the casting. I actually talked about that in my book club video about how, like, what I thought about their casting and, like, the choices that they had made for the cast. I thought it was really good. I also read Death on the Nile this month. This is it. This is a movie. I haven't watched the movie yet, but we are having a movie night tonight, my boyfriend and I, so maybe we'll end up watching that, because apparently there's a new video, like a new movie out. This is Kenneth Branagh, I think. And there's a new movie out about this book, so I'm going to read it, or watch the movie, because I read the book. This is also part of my TBR book for this month. I read it in like the first 2 days of June. So, pumped for myself. The next one is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or been gifted. So I have two. I'm not sure actually if this one is from this year, but the first book I have is The Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers Sain. This is a debut author. It has flowers on it, and there's the moon in the background, and there's like the water. It's just a really pretty book. This book is also insanely good. Just saying. But the book is gorgeous. Like, the book sleeve itself is gorgeous. There's like a crocodile here, because there's like a crocodile in the book. It's so good. And then the next one that I have is Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. I just really think that this cover is pretty. It's in like bright purple and blue. There's a hotel on the front, and there's like gold writing, and it has like filigree and like feathers around it on the edges. It's just a gorgeous book. Which, this book I also loved. I grabbed a lot of books that I love. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I also figured out that I haven't actually been keeping track of how many books that I read this year very well, and I'm in the 50s at this point. So this is June, it's the middle of the month, and I've read like maybe 51, 52 books because I missed like logging like 6 of them, and I didn't realize that. And then the last one that we have is, what books do you need to read the rest of by the end of the year, or read by the end of the year? So I have to read the entire Crave series. Like, I have to know what's happening. The new one, like I said, came out this June. I can't wait to get it. I have all first editions right now with these books, even though I got like some of them from Book Depository. You can tell from like the little black dot, but at least they did like just like a nice little black dot. Yeah, all of mine are first editions. I'm very excited about that. So I really, really want to finish this series. I did just buy book number 5 last month. I bought it in May. So that was pretty exciting. I'm very excited to get book number 6 because it came out like this week, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure it came out, or maybe it's not out yet. Maybe it's not out yet when I'm filming this. It's this week, I think, that it comes out. So yeah, I'm super excited to read that series. I need to read that. And I also need to read the, where is it? One of Us is Back by Karen M. McManus. I need to know what happens in that series. I need to know what's going on there because it was so good. I also want to finish, because I have the 2 other books by her. I have The Cousins and 2 of Us Can Keep a Secret. I also want to read those 2 books by her as well. I'm a pretty big fan of Karen M. McManus at this point. Okay, that's it. I just really wanted to do this tag. I watched it today, and then I was like, this is amazing. I'm totally going to do this. So thank you guys for hanging out. If you're still here, please leave a book emoji down in the comments there. Let me know that you're here hanging out and loving it, or not loving it. Like, if you're not into this content, that's cool. Dislike the video if you want to. I mean, that's cool. Please subscribe if you haven't, and turn on the notification bell so you're aware of all of the uploads that I have. I'm trying to get better at saying that. I don't know if it's working for me. I'm not sure, but I'm trying. Please check out my description box for other content creators. Gabby Reads will be down there, and her video about this mid-year book tag freakout will be down there as well. And thank you guys so much for spending a couple minutes of your day with me today. Please tell me what books you're loving. Do you have a 5-star read this year? Please tell me what your 5-star read is. I want to know. I'm thinking about maybe doing some kind of like survey so that you guys can tell me what books you're reading, what's happening, stuff like that. I'm so into book stuff right now. Thank you guys so much for spending a couple minutes of your day with me today. I really, really appreciate that. And I really, really appreciate you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!